All right, I'm at a very popular trailhead in town today. First time I've come to the trails in town since the trails opened May 1, and as you can see, there goes a mountain biker. This is a mountain biking, hiking, running, everything trail. And I'm headed up Crystal Butte today. I like to do this as a test to kind of just get a gauge from where I am. I do this every year throughout the year, so I have a lot of good data on it and can kind of get a sense for where I'm at. More importantly, maybe anecdotally, of just how I internally feel doing this climb. To give you some data on this climb, I have about a 10-minute warm-up, which is not really a warm-up. It's a climb, but it's relatively low grade compared to the Crystal Butte, what we'll be doing for the test. So 10-minute warm-up, and then once I kind of start at the sign turnoff, where I always officially start the climb, it's right at a mile climb, 1,240 feet of climbing. So this is super, super steep. It's relentless. It doesn't let up. The average grade for the entire mile in the climb is 22%, fluctuating anywhere from maxing out at 40 to 45%. And this has a false summit which is right kind of in the middle of the 45% grade. So you're right in the middle of 45% grade, and you can kind of see kind of a false summit, which starts to plateau a little bit, but then you've still got a little ways to go. And in the drive coming in, I can see it from the truck, and it looks like there's still some snow up there. So I'm anticipating maybe being able to run to that false summit and then probably hiking the rest of the way, but we'll see. It's this gets a lot of sun exposure, so it might have enough foot travel where I'm able to run it all. We'll see. Early season. But so what we're going to talk about today, and the reason I'm in the truck is that because there's so much activity here, I just wanted to kind of do the opener here inside the truck, so it's nice and quiet, and then we'll do more as I get out and get on the run. But what we're going to talk about is fueling. I had a great question from Colin on YouTube about referring back to my previous video earlier in the week about detecting low fatigue levels and low fueling. We're going to talk about, or his question was, what do you do when you're racing or in a training run and you are low on fuel? What type of fuel do you use? And it's a great question. We'll dive into that. But I thought today, while I'm in the truck, before I'm headed out, I'll kind of tell you what I did today. So we talked about this effort. This effort's going to be, it's a mile, but because of the steep grade, the 1,200 feet of climbing, this is going to be a little over 20 minutes of climbing, and very hard climbing. So lactic threshold and above. So about an hour ago, I had a Bobo bar, which is an oat-based bar. This has 7 grams of fat, 26 grams of carbohydrates with only 8 grams of sugar and 3 grams of protein. So I found that, again, just like I mentioned in the previous video this week, how I do well on rice sometimes, I've found that when times like this, I really respond well to oats. Again, oats aren't something I have in my normal diet. I don't eat oatmeal a lot, but in an oat bar with something like this, where I can have something an hour before a very, very hard workout like this, I've just found that the Bobos do me well. With that, I'm sipping a electrolyte drink on my way in, which is just hardly any calories, but basically just filled with electrolytes. To kind of just top things off there. Especially last night I had a longish evening run, so I'm kind of maybe catching up from that a little bit too. So just topping things off with the hydration and the electrolytes. And then finally, I don't take a lot of supplements, but one thing I do take is the BioFactor ATP. This is made by a practitioner here in Jackson. And I'll list it out for you, and then I'll also put a a link in the bottom of the video if you want to check this out. But the purpose of this is that it essentially recycles your lactic acid back into your ATP system in your Krebs cycle. Essentially, long story short, the reason I take it is that it's one of the only types of supplements that I've ever felt like it is really, really, really helping. And what it does in an effort like this, it just reduces my high level breathing, and it makes the breathing, the hard breathing, more smooth. I feel like I'm buffering my lactic acid a lot better, which is kind of the purpose of this. So this, when a hard, especially climbing, I'll take 3 of these about 10 minutes before to let it kick in, and I'll just read the ingredients so you can kind of get a sense for it. It's vitamin B1, B2, B3, calcium, magnesium, sodium bicarbonate, potassium, and then a proprietary blend. Okay, so that's what I'm doing this morning, and we're gonna see how the legs feel. Good test this morning, so let's get out of the truck and hit it. Okay, there she is. That's the false summit I was talking about. We're gonna go up this way and just kind of go into those trees, and right there's a false summit, and we can't see the summit from here. So we'll see how I feel. I kind of had a 300-foot warm-up, so feeling actually pretty good. This will be the test. Good long, first really long runnable climb this year, and we'll see how she goes. I like to do this early season because it is so steep. It gives me a sense of my cadence and my power, aerobic power, and just lets everything kind of come into play as far as getting an assessment of how I feel. So here we're gonna go. But I'm gonna say, starting to talk about some products. I've been talking about shoes for a while, threw in some other products today. I purposefully do not accept sponsorships so I can remain neutral and try my own things and be partial to my own experiences. So I just want you guys to know that I, if and when I do ever accept a sponsorship, it'll be for a very, very good reason, and I'll let you know. But I wanted to let you know that I don't accept sponsorships, so I can speak real. So, all right, speaking of real, let's climb for real. Here we go. Trick is to keep it as easy as possible until it starts to really kick up.
Thank you.
Awesome, yeah.
That was all just snow like a couple days ago.
It's good. We've got a good couple days here.
Yeah,
it's good.
Nice run.
Yeah, you too. See ya. On this grade, downhill traffic gets lighter right away because it's much steeper right now, slipperier. So coming up on the false summit, thought I would chime in real quick. I didn't want to record, wanted to focus, but got a little reprieve here with the snow, and we got the false summit coming. I just missed a herd of deer. Wow, clear sailing after that little patch of snow. I ran the whole way except that little part. You can see down there's Jackson Hole. To give you perspective, here's Snow King Ski Resort in town, and here's the Snow King Ridge. On the other side of that ridge is home and where the trails have been that I've been running on the last few days. There's a whole complete trail system in through this little riverbed and canyon, and furthermore trails over by Jackson Peak. So like I said, this is real popular trail. Met a lot of people coming up, but I'm gonna come up here and chat. Wow, I was expecting a lot more snow, which is good. First half felt really, really good, and kept telling myself to hold back, and then the second half, kind of right when I stopped, and I'm gonna find some wind buffer here. Yeah, right when I was stopped for that snow section, I was starting to feel a little lack of strength endurance, which is completely expected this time of year, but good, really good. I wasn't suffering, I wasn't working too hard, I was able to maintain it. And I'm gonna get in here, it might be a little dark, but you can see another nice day. We've had, ever since May, these days have been really nice. Lots of sun, things are melting, which is why I think we didn't have any snow on the way up. But before I get to our question, I want to go back to when I was talking about the BioFactor ATP supplement I spoke this morning and took. Is that I mentioned that the idea is it's meant to recycle lactic acid. I misspoke there, and it's meant to recycle lactate before it becomes a waste product, which is the lactic acid that you feel in your legs as you go anaerobic or at lactate threshold. So just wanted to clear that up for my own peace of mind. I didn't want to mislead you there. It's recycling the lactate, which is again why I love this product. I was running above threshold heart rate, but it felt like I was at threshold or even below. And so that's where it's really buffering that waste product of lactic acid. So anyways, it's gonna be a little windy, I apologize, but hey, we're in the mountains, right? And cook on my mouth, dirt everywhere. Anyways, all right, so getting into Colin's question, he had a question about my video on low fuel, low or fatigue levels, and how you dictate that or detect that in heart rate. And his question was, so if you are out on a race and you find that your heart rate's low and you're low on fuel, what do you fuel with? And it's a great question, because we want to look at, one, the distance that you're racing. If this is a shorter, faster race where the intensity is relatively high, we want to look immediately to carbohydrates to start getting your energy back. Contrary to some popular belief, carbohydrates is the most efficient, quick burning fuel there is. Fat is efficient burning through a long period of time, but fat is not efficient for quick bursts of energy, okay? So if you're racing short and fast, and I'll let you dictate what that means to you, it's different for everybody. Short and fast could be a 50K for some, or it could be a 5K. But obviously if you're doing a 5K, you're probably not getting low on energy. But getting back to the point is that when we get low, our heart rate drops, maybe our brain even gets a little fuzzy, we've got to go to that quick hit carbohydrates to get everything back, especially our brain. Our brain requires about 20% of getting that back. Okay, so we need to feed the brain and feed the muscles. So look to your gels, your Coke, anything that's quick and fast that's going to allow you to realize that calorie within 5 or 10 minutes, so you can get that back and get on your way, and then start getting back into your rhythm with your fueling. If this is a longer ultra marathoning where you're going maybe all day, you still want to do the same thing to kind of, again, more importantly, to get your brain back and get your morale back. Because in an ultra marathon, when we start getting low on fuel, it appears like we're getting tired. And that's, like I mentioned in the other video, that's a kind of a misnomer, is it's low fuel disguises itself as, hey, I'm getting tired, I'm not gonna be able to go on anymore. But getting quick carbohydrate fuel in you as quick as possible will help you to get that energy back. In an ultra marathon, that's important for the brain and for the morale, so you can start to feel that, oh, I do feel better now. And then being an ultra marathon, you look to a little bit more of a blend. But what I told Colin is that in an ultra marathon, what's important if you get low is that you're probably really depleted. And I tell my athletes, just eat anything that feels appetizing, or that feels like you can get it and stomach it. You know, that might be potato chips, that might be some aid stations, you know, cheese and potatoes. Whatever tastes or feels appetizing, get it in your body, and just get that cycle going back again, so you can, through time, start really replenishing everything that you've lost. Because again, now that we're eating a lot more calories, it's going to take a while for your body to kind of get that going. Okay, so 2 examples of maybe how to take in the same thing immediately, but for 2 different purposes, based on the style of racing you're doing. So let's open that up for more questions. You know, in training, I would say, you know, most training events are going to be short enough where you're maybe going to want to stick to the carbohydrates to get that back, and even throughout the long run. If the intensity is really, really low, you can then maybe experiment with more dense calories to kind of fine tune what you're doing in training for your racing, and play around with that. But intensity has a lot to do with what your body needs. The higher the intensity, more it's going to look for carbohydrates for that quick hit. The lower the energy, or the lower the intensity, the more you're able to get in a mix and fuel you for a long period of time. Okay, so intensity has a lot to do with it, and it also will, the higher the intensity, the more slow your stomach's going to work. So again, getting something that's easily digested is key there. Okay, so all right, so yeah, throw back some more questions. This is a good topic, and we'll keep maybe answering these. And I'm gonna head down the hill, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maybe show a little bit of the climb going down. I didn't want to film coming up because I wanted to be focused in the moment, and so I'll show you the climb as I go down. So all right, I'm gonna get out into the sun and head back down. Again, thanks for watching, and there's the wind. This is a part of the summit bid right after the fall summit. Fall summit's kind of down in there right after the snow, but you can, up here we'll get a shot of the Tetons. I definitely don't have my descending legs yet. They feel a little clunky. Need to get the brain back with that, but you can see trail's in really good shape. And there's the Tetons. Let's go up here and see. You can still see a lot of snow, but that's north, and the Teton Range right in the clouds. Right to the left of that last tree is the Grand Teton, and Grand Teton National Park, which is closed. And there's a good shot of Jackson, town of Jackson, Snow King. And this is the fall summit here. So after about 45% grade, you come up here and it's relatively flat, and you're struggling. Anyways, wanted to talk shoes real quick. I'm gonna try to stay in the sun. And so I've got my Arc'teryx Norvan SL on again today. I'm having a hard time putting these down. I got these for an all-day shoe, but these are super light and good for everything. And I'm just, because they're so light, I have a size 11, and the one shoe is 212 grams. And the protection I need, and I'm just, again, they're surprising the heck out of me. The only downside is that they're a 7 mil drop, but if I use them on stuff like this, where my heel's never touching the ground, I'm finding that that's not an issue. And the 4-foot stack height is 15 millimeters, and I'm just finding that that's with their awesome midsole, and I'm just having a hard time putting them down and not using them for a lot of other things that I wasn't expecting to use them for. So full recovery, or full review coming soon. Let's go down the hill. This is where you can open it up. windy enough where you can't really bomb it, but and technical enough. Quick feet. Gonna get another good view up here. Yeah. So now you can start seeing really the grade that we came up. I came up way down there. All right, this is part of the 40-45% grade. We'll pop out up here, give you a true sense of, you can see it's basically just switchbacking up this steep side of the mountain. There's town, and back into the sun, and I'll hold the camera straight and you can kind of see the grade. Back there I hit that patch of snow and slipped. So one bad thing about these shoes is they're not gonna grip you on snow. And with, I wanted to mention up there is that, you know, I'm training today, so there's days where I'll hike this to work on my power hiking. There's days I'll run it depending on the purpose. But if this was a race, unless it was a vertical K, you're definitely hiking this. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there, that I use, you know, most times a grade like this is a hiking grade, and I will only pick and choose the days that I really run this. And you can see it's just as slow going down. I love trees like that. The shoe's doing really well on this loose stuff though. I'm really impressed with the outsole in general. Into the wind. All right, here you can see our trail system. And it just switchbacks up this. So I'm gonna kind of hit this, put the camera down, we'll see you at the bottom. All right, back to the bottom. There she is one more time. Another awesome day here in Jackson Hole. Tomorrow's going to be even better, maybe 70 degrees. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow yet, but I might go back to Wilson Canyon and go up back side of this ridge and just see what snow levels are like. This week's all about recon and seeing what conditions are like. So all right, now I'm out of here. Thanks for following along. Throw me your questions. See ya.